Hello everyone, my name is Akshar Goswami and I've been using RAML since about 1 month. So we'll talk about RAML today. As you know, RAML stands for RESTful API Modeling Language and it is used to model or document the APIs. You must have known that RAML is made up of YAML, or RAML uses YAML. YAML stands for Yet Another Modeling Language. So today we're going to learn how to write a basic RAML code and how that models the APIs that we are going to describe. So as you can see, we are currently on the official website of RAML, and as you go on the for developer section and as you go to tutorials, there are tutorials named as RAML 100 and RAML 200. So these are quite enough to give you the basic knowledge of RAML. So you can go through these tutorials and you can understand quite easily that how easy it is to write RAML codes. Well, now the question arises that where do you write your RAML application and where do you test? Well, there are certain IDEs available such as Atom or maybe Sublime Text, but there you can only write your code but you cannot check your codes. But yes, these provide indentations to avoid errors. So I would suggest you that you go to Anypoint Platform by MuleSoft and you create your ID there, and as you can see I've already created my ID, but just to make you understand, I'll start from beginning. So we go to Anypoint Platform. There you need to have your ID to log in. I've already placed mine, so it knows my email ID and password, so I'm automatically logged in. So from here you have to go to API Manager, where you will write your RAML or document your API. So let's just wait for the page to open. So here you can see these are the list of RAML files that I have written that have been used to document some APIs. So recently I've written an API called as student record, so we'll review it. So as you can see, it provides a lot of options. You can edit your RAML in API designer, you can publish your API or using API portals to use in Anypoint Studio. So if you are using MuleSoft or you are integration associate or manager, you will understand what MuleSoft is. Or else you can also deploy your API or RAML on Cloud Hub. So here you can input the details to deploy your RAML file. But right now we're going to talk about how to design your APIs. So as you can see, I've already written my API. The first line stands for #%RAML 0.8. It suggests that we're using RAML 0.8 version. As you know that there are two versions of RAML. One is RAML 0.8 and another one is RAML 1.0. Well, 1.0 is the latest edition of RAML and it has some enhanced features and functionalities of 0.8, but since we are at the beginner level, we'll be using RAML 0.8 version. Well, base URI. So as you can see on the right side of the screen that the mocking service is on. So the mocking service creates a base URI, which is a fake URI or mocking URI that we can use to check our application. As you can see that in our RAML we have /student, /student ID, /year, /course. So if we want to check our application, we can go on the right side of the screen and there we can see all the defined methods in our RAML. So in our student we have the get method. After get method we have the post method. After post method we have put method and we have delete method. So all of it's working is all of these functions are available in the resources section. So when we type get and we use the button try it and we go down and we, since the get function does not require any parameters or anything to pass, and when we send the get request up from a RAML, we get a response. So as you can see, the status 200 is suggests that our operation was successful and everything is okay. And when we come down, we can see that we get a response in form of JSON file, that is root, and under root we have some records which suggest contains a name, ID, year and course, and these are the list of records that we get after we send a get request on the student function. So let's understand one by one how does this RAML work. So now we know that base URL is used to just to check and display these functions, that whether these are working properly or not. Title is used to suggest that for what API we are using the RAML and what does this RAML does to, so to signify that we use the title section. Version 1.0 suggests that the API or the RAML file that we are writing for student records. So the API version is 1.0, not the RAML version. RAML version is 0.8, but the API version is 1.0 that we are using. So as you can see, the code has to be written with the perfect indentation, or else it will generate an error. As you can see, there are methods such as slash student get responses 200 body application JSON example. So to make you understand, for 1 second I'll cut paste it so that you can understand it. So here we go. Let's write the get. Let's start writing it from the beginning. So as we have suggested slash student, so slash student is that when we access our API, when we'll call it on the Cloud Hub or where we have deployed it, we'll be writing that www.com/URL. So slash student will be under the URL. So when we write http://www.ea.com/student, so this section will be accessed. So first of all, we'll define which method we are going to use. So as you can see, it automatically suggests that what we need to do. As you can see, whether we want to use docs or methods or parameters. So since we want to create a get method, we'll put get. Now the best part is it automatically suggests that what we want to do next. So after get, the format is that we use responses. So as we know, if the RAML or if any application is working perfectly, the response is 200. So we want that the correct responses should be printed, so we write 200. So after we write 200, it automatically gives us three options, that whether we want to include description or headers or body. Now to describe the response that we are getting, we need to use the body parameter. So we clicked on body. After body, it wants to know that what sort of output we'll be getting, what will be the format of the output we'll be getting. So we need to select from one of these, that whether it will be JSON or XML. So most of the REST APIs or most of the RAML files use JSON format, so we'll also be using JSON format. So we click on JSON. Now some new options have arrived, that what do we want to write. So the thing is that after application and JSON, the trend is that you will need to write example to specify what we need to write. But since we have already copied it, so we'll just paste it, Control V. So as you can see, the example has been pasted. So the thing about RAML is that it is only a modeling language. It does not contain databases. It does not actually manipulate data. It is only used to model that how does your API works. So only the example that are written in the code will be used. So anything except it will not be printed. So yes, that should be the format. So when we write a get message, it will give the response written in the example. When we click on post, it will print the example written in the post method. So when we click on post, the response should be like this. So why don't we try it? It also does not it does not also require any query parameter, so we can directly post. And as you can see, this is the request URL to access /student post. So right now this is a mocking URL, but when you deploy it on Cloud Hub or some other application, for example, I used my name as an Cloud Hub domain name, so I write that http://akshargoswami1.cloudhub.io/student. So under /student, if we send the post request, it will give us the required output. Okay. So yes, that is everything about this code, where you can use different resources, that whether you will be using /student or under a resource you can use separate methods such as get, post, put, delete, and you can have separate resources, for example /student/id, /student/year, /student/course, and yep, this should be it. So I'll suggest you that you go to Anypoint Platform and you start writing your own RAML, and you can check that it is working properly or not using the resources column at the right hand side. And you'll see that, for example, as I clicked on put, the part under the put method should run. So the put under 200, that is name Krishna Priya Goswami, ID 789101, year to 2015, course BCom should be printed. So as you can see, the response is 200 and body yes. So that will be the output. So yep, that's all for this today's lesson. I suggest you go on Anypoint Platform and you start writing your own RAML, and please ask if there is some question, there is any problem you are stuck on or you need some help. So I'm always available. My email ID is goakshar96@gmail.com, and I'll provide other information in the link below. So that's all from today. Thank you very much.